Welcome to We Don't Color on the Dog. We've got two very distinguished attorneys here. Troy Rafferty, former number one on the In Weekly Power List. Madeline Piddley. Maddie is a rising star, part of the rising stars that we've had. This is great to have both of you on. We've talked about in the media and publicly a lot about the harms of the internet for children. A lot of the discussion has been on predators, sexual predators preying on kids. But y'all have come across a different angle now, and it involves gambling and how accessible that is for children, teenage boys particularly. Tell us a little bit about the case y'all filed.
So we've gotten the first underage gambling complaint ever on file earlier this week in the state of New York. This case is against Stake.com, which is a offshore casino crypto-based platform that markets into and targets users in the US, particularly underage boys. They do that through celebrity endorsements, influencer streaming, marketing at sports teams, and they spend tens, hundreds of millions of dollars a year to infiltrate the US market. So our case specifically is about our client started gambling as a teenager. He was always entrepreneurial, had a little money, and he got hooked. And so he has lost tens of thousands of dollars on stake.com, had to withdraw from college once he turned 18 after only being there for 8 days because he already lost all of the money he had as soon as he was outside of his home. So his parents realized this is a real problem. He had to withdraw, and he now goes to Gamblers Anonymous 4 or 5 times a week and will for the foreseeable future.
Yeah,
You know,
this is
it
great.
really, I've read stories on college campuses where the gambling has gotten a little bit out of control. And it does seem to be the way they prey on these kids, Troy, it just seems to be so accessible to them.
Yeah, that's this is a bigger issue right now that we're facing in our society and our communities is, this whole thing of online abuse, online dangers is something that parents have to be aware of right now because this is an epidemic facing our youth today. The companies out there, especially these online companies and these platforms, are using their power to infiltrate your home, get inside your houses, into your kids, and be able to manipulate them into these horrible things. And gambling is just one aspect of it. It's a huge aspect of it, though. And yeah, I'm glad you brought up the college universities, but it's important for everybody to know that over 35%, 36% higher than that is even of kids 11 to 17 are having reported gambling in the last year. 11 to 17, Rick. I mean, these kids, these companies and these platforms are getting into your home and getting to your kids and taking advantage of.
Manny, what kind of gambling are they doing online?
One of two things. There's a lot of sports betting. Even daily fantasy sports is gambling, but then they will also do true sportsbook gambling and casino gambling. So all the slot machines you see in Vegas, there's basically an online version of that. Any game you can think of is also online. So I think at this point, from our research, the sports betting is a little more popular, but the casino gambling is prevalent as well. And kids are losing probably more money on the casino platforms.
Wow. Wow. Now, who are the companies that are the defendants in the case that y'all filed?
And the one that we just filed is stake.com and the individual owners of stake.com. They've basically got overlapping ownership of all of their stake entities. And then we're also investigating claims against DraftKings and FanDuel.
Yeah, and we're talking about when we talk about, a lot of people see, all the time now in sports, at sporting events, you see DraftKings and FanDuel and all of these things where they're paying all of these celebrities to come in and these influencers to try and get these kids hooked at an early age. It's no different than tobacco. It's no different than any of these other things we've seen, the opioid epidemic. They get these, in tobacco, if you get to the kids, then you're sustaining your business model because they're the easiest to get addicted because their brains are still forming. They're learning, they're understanding, they're trying to understand the world, and that's who they're targeting. And it's incredible. And these companies are doing, a lot of people don't realize stake.com, an offshore company that is doing massive business in the United States, is pocketing what 4.5, 4.7, 4.9, over $5 billion a year from these things. Billions of dollars are being run through these companies at the expense of our kids and what these kids then have to deal with. And they're taking away their adolescence. They're taking away their childhood. and they're focusing only on on this gambling addiction.
And
You know,
that's a great point with,
Yeah.
really quick with stake.com in particular, not being an online gambler. I pictured this when I heard offshore as kind of like a fly by night company, but it's not. To Troy's point, it's massive and it's actually the biggest crypto based casino online platform in the world. So the main problem is the way they're targeting these kids is the influencers and the celebrities, but they have paid influencers to live stream gambling on stake. They'll stream that to YouTube. That does not have age restrictions. So a 12-year-old, like our client, could log on and watch it and like, oh, like they're still, even though they're not gambling and losing their money, their little brain's getting rewired. And so now they want to go check it out. And so then there's all these forums on Reddit, all these forums on like social media discussion posts. How do I get on stake.com? And like, here's the link. Use this VPN. So it's so well known that anybody, even if you're underage, can just hop on and they haven't done anything about it. And so it's an intentional targeting through the influencer market that's like enticing young men to get on the platform.
I can see two things. One, on the fantasy sports, because you can do fantasy sports, Major League Baseball, the NFL, NBA, they all have fantasy programs that aren't gambling, but they get you, I could see I'm playing this. Well, heck, if I could pick who's going to hit a home run today, then I'll get, I'll make some money on it. Well, I'd play it for free.
They're grooming them. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing is I'm thinking about all the games that you have on your phone, Candy Crush, all the ones that the bright lights, same kind of colors. The difference in that and looking at a slot machine on a website for a kid, not much difference. It's the same kind of, you're looking at everything moving and constantly making changes.
Yeah, that's a
And
great point. It's the flashing lights, the bright colors, and it's like the gamification of gambling calls to a young brain.
yeah, these companies hire psychologists. They hire all sorts of people to come in and figure out how to get into the minds of your children. And that's what they're focusing on, which is an important aspect of this, Rick, I think, is we as a community, we as a society, and as parents, we're facing a problem in our society right now that we as children didn't have to face. We didn't have all of these things being bombarded at us. We didn't have this access on the internet that our kids have now. And it's incumbent upon us as parents to understand it because we don't generally. These kids are so much more savvy on the internet than we are as parents. And that's one of the reasons we're so focused at RDCY. We're so focused on protecting your children online.
Well, it's become the babysitter. A laptop, a cell phone. I mean, everyone's trying to, more restrictions be in place. There are some safeguards, but that's way behind where we are in technology. What's the next step in the case, Maddie?
At this point, we know thousands of other minors have been able to gamble on stake.com. So we're continuing to investigate, the next state we want to go after and growing this case nationwide, maybe into an MDL. And then again, we're investigating other claims against other platforms too, like DraftKings and FanDuel.
Yeah.
So
this
it's got legs.
This is a cause. This is a cause, and we're going to take it throughout the country. We're going to solve this problem just like we solved the other epidemics in this country. We're going to come together as a community and as a society. And one of the important things, Rick, for all of your Pensacola listeners, I want to emphasize too, we're having a town hall, a town hall meeting May 15th at the Brownsville Community Center that we're bringing in professionals from many different aspects of addressing this problem, law enforcement, therapists, everybody that can lend a hand in trying to deal with these problems. We're going to have that at Brownsville Community Center May 15th, free to the public to come in and help educate parents on how to protect your children online.
Okay, great. Well, guys, thank y'all so much for coming on. This is, it's frightening to be a parent and a grandparent in this world because you're right, Troy. And even Maddie, even you growing up. I mean, it's a lot has changed and it's changing very rapidly in our homes.
The days of of Pac-Man games at the arcade are gone, Rick. I know you hate that, but
Pong. Guys, thank y'all so much. We'll catch up again soon.
Thanks for everything you do for us, for the community. All right, bye-bye.
Thanks for watching, and to keep up with what's going on, be sure and subscribe. Just click on the little dog to the right and click the subscribe button. You can also like this video and click on the bell, which will notify you of new content. This really helps the channel grow. We appreciate you.